So iOS 26 official is here. Let's discuss everything you need to know about iOS 26 and if this is going to be a worthy download for you. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology, and let's go ahead and discuss iOS 26 now that the official version is available for download. Now this update is pretty large, so you're going to want to go ahead and have at least around 8 to 10 gigabytes available to go ahead and complete this properly. Also, make sure that you do have yourself a pretty good charge, as it does take a little bit of time, but this is a pretty big overhaul for iOS, especially in the version of 26 because of the liquid glass and all the included new features. So just be a little bit prepared. Okay, so let's get started with the very first things we're going to talk about, and that is going to be the liquid glass interactions and UI elements. So first of all, you're going to go ahead and go to edit here, and you're just going to see the way this looks now is definitely a bit different than before. You can see as you move your finger along, it kind of glides naturally and does highlight, kind of like if it was glass. Let's go over here to customize, and you'll see down here, you do now have the version of clear icons. So you can go ahead and make everything look, well, like glass icons right there. And you're going to be able to do this across the Apple ecosystem on the iPad as well as the Mac in the future. So everything is going to be available for this really nice glass look if this is something you want to do. Once again, though, they did improve the tinted icons as well. So if we go to tinted here, you'll see they're now in a lighter look here. Before they were a bit more darker on the iOS 18. So now you can make them lighter, closer to a glass effect, or change different colors. So definitely, I think a bit more customization than ever before for 26. So let's go ahead and hit customize, and we'll just go back to clear. Now, if we go ahead and put on tint and we go into a dark mode, you'll see they still kind of stay the same right there. But if we go over here to customize again, we can go over here and kind of like make them just a little bit more contrasty there. Now, I will say though, as we go over here to default, that's going to be kind of like what you're used to, but the icons also themselves do look a little bit more, I would say like a little bit more 3D looking. They're definitely a nice look. They kind of feel like they're just like stickers on the display. They look really nice, honestly. So let's go ahead and click over here. We'll go back to edit and customize again, and we'll hit dark mode, and you'll see you will retain your dark mode icons. Now I'm going to go back for this and go to just like the original look for continue on with the review here. But if we go over here, you can just click that and get bigger icons as well on iOS. I don't see a lot of people using this mode on their iPhone, but if you do need super large icons, you can do that there. The only issue I have is that we can't see what the icons say, but they're large enough that you should probably know what they are, like by using your iPhone as much as you probably already do. Now, if I go here, you can also darken and lighten the wallpaper, and pretty much a lot of it stays kind of the same to iOS 18 with these just newer overall looks. Now, continuing on with the liquid glass, you're going to find these elements across the user interface, including in things like the App Store. So if we go down here and we swipe through on iOS 26, you will see nice liquid glass effects. Let me get a little bit closer there. And definitely it just feels nice to drag your finger across. It's definitely very different than other phones that kind of it just looks like the other phones look less polished now because of that simple update. Well, it's not simple, but that update that Apple did here makes the iPhone experience just feel a bit nicer. If we go over here to the clock application, you're going to find the same exact things as I swipe through, and it's going to kind of give you the same thing. And it's a bit more noticeable here within the clock application, the liquid glass. It looks like a magnifying glass going through each of the user elements. So definitely that's pretty nice as well. You're just going to find it across the board. If we go over here into this area, this is kind of the same. But it kind of looks like these folders are like a piece of glass. And when you go through, you can see them kind of like gliding through the wallpapers right there. And then also over here in the control center, if I go ahead and swipe here, there's kind of like a glass look up here as well. And when we go through these elements, there's like a little bounce that happens right here. Now, when we go over here into adding custom controls in here, adding a control, if we click right here, you'll see many controls. This area is still not quite as smooth as I would like, but overall, you know, you do get a lot of features and you can add them right from the control center. Unlike some older versions of iOS where you had to go into these settings, you can add a lot of stuff right here. So, and you can go ahead and pull down over here from the left and you can see your notifications area. Also, if I go over here to the lock screen and I hold down here, hit customize, you'll be able to move this clock. It's more dynamic now and it can get a lot larger here, which is rather nice. So definitely quite a bit going on here for iOS 26 and the visual changes. It's pretty darn noticeable right here. And here are some of the wallpapers they have for iOS 26: shadow, halo, dusk, sky, and dynamic. Now, if we go ahead and click any of these, when you do go ahead and switch over to dark mode, they change colors. So, I mean, it's not like it's a big feature, but it is noticeable as you go into the dark mode. They're pretty different. They do match up with a night theme. So it's definitely going to be fun to use that feature right there, because you don't want like a super bright wallpaper when you're in a dark mode. And some phones, believe it or not, their wallpaper still don't get that dark. So I do like how they dynamically switch depending on which mode you're in. So in iOS 26, the call area, like this area also got cleaned up. You still get them liquid glass elements down here as well. Things are just a little bit cleaner here in the phone dialer app. But if we go over here in the settings and we scroll down to applications, and then we go into where it says phone, click right here, scroll down, and you're going to find something all new in here. So you can see right here, you can screen unknown callers now. Now this has been on phones like the Google Pixel for a while, but here on iOS 26, you can now screen callers. You can ask reason for calling, you can silence them, or you can screen them and just have them on never. They will ring, but they'll be displayed in recents list. You can also call filter unknown, and there's another element you'll see within iOS 26 as well. I didn't show earlier. The buttons also have that effect, and you can kind of swipe them through like that. Not all software does that. Some other softwares don't do that. They will just kind of click over. So that is a nice little touch. Just a small attention to detail is definitely quite nice. But yeah, the call screening is a huge change to iOS. Is definitely going to allow you to stop some of these annoying spam calls that seem to be rampant here in 2025. So with Apple Music, they do have animated album art now. So you'll be able to see the full screen on the lock screen in iOS 26. Some songs won't do it though, but certain ones will. Like some songs won't show the whole entire song, but you will be able to see animated album art going forward here on iOS 26. So that's just something nice. I guess if you're a heavy Apple Music user, you'll definitely enjoy that. So the next feature, and this is a pretty big one, resides within camera control. Now all the 17s will support this as well as all the 16s. So a lot of phones here. Hold down all the way and you'll see visual intelligence. You'll be able to learn about objects and places around you to see more information. Now this could be pretty useful if you're out and about and you want to like use this to take a picture of something you're seeing out on the street and you don't know exactly what it is or the store or stuff like that. But you can just do it with anything really too. You can ask it about this image right here. It's going to ask if you want to use ChatGPT. You could say, what specific iPad is this? So we'll hit, well, I didn't spell it right, but it should still know what I'm saying. What would you like to know? What model is this? And we'll go ahead and click that. It's working on it. And it should tell me in just a second here. But this is the iPad mini based on the flat edge single rear camera. It appears to be the 6th generation version released in 2021. Now that's actually incorrect. I probably should have gave it a little bit more context. But it is the same. This is the most recent iPad mini that's currently for sale. But you get my point. You can do things like this. I'm probably too close to give it a pure thing, but you can also search here. We'll hit continue for Google searches, and you'll be able to pull things up. Once again, because I'm very close, it's showing me some older iPad minis, but you get the point. It will detect the things you need to do. Let me bring in another object to see. So I'm going to bring in these vitamins. Let's go ahead and click this and see if we can pull these vitamins up and see it was able to pull up this exact vitamins that I'm using right now. So definitely easy, easy to use that and get on with your day, the visual intelligence. So definitely, it's kind of like circle to search. combined with ChatGPT. It's something like that, but using the camera control. So that's kind of a neat Apple Intelligence feature. I do kind of like it. So on iOS 26, Image Playground does have an upgrade where you can get just a little bit more animated with your Genmojis. There's just a little bit more you can do, including using ChatGPT, Genmoji. This is going to be way more fun to play with if you did use this. I didn't really use this too much, but if you do use this application quite a bit, it's still in beta as it says down there. This is going to be improved for different styles and stuff of that sort. So if you mess around with this app quite a bit, I think you're going to want to do this update. It's definitely going to be worth it for this. So translations are going to be better in iOS 26 as well. You will be able to use camera, conversations as usual, but you're going to have the ability to have these in messages, FaceTime, as well as with the AirPods. The AirPods one is a crucial one, especially since it could be in your ear at all times. If you're traveling, somebody's talking, you could just ask it to translate what they're saying. That's a pretty neat feature, honestly, especially with the new AirPods Pro 3. So translations, if you travel a lot, you're going to like the upgrades in 26. If you don't, they're probably not going to be that significant to you. But translations are a major upgrade here in 26. The next thing they did was they created an application called Games, where in 26, you're going to be able to go ahead and put we're going to be able to put all of your games into this one application. As you can see, it shows a lot of the games I've been playing. You can continue playing these. You'll get some friend suggestions as well, and you'll get to access the arcade. You'll have your friends section right here. And I think for people who like to play mobile games, this is a pretty neat little dashboard of games. It kind of reminds me of some of those dedicated gaming applications that you would find on things like a dedicated gaming phone that has its little gaming application. So I do like this, especially considering the new iPhone has better thermals. And if you're going to be playing a lot of games, this could be a fun little time killer if you want to, keep focused into your game area. So when it comes to the camera application, you can see the icon is definitely a bit different here in 26, but what's really different is the way the software looks. So if I go into the camera here and I take a photo, you're going to see that we do have a pretty simplified way of accessing video and photo with the liquid glass elements, allowing you to go through the rest of the modes here, but they kind of just focus in on video and photo. And that to me is a very nice touch, because most people are just using those two spots within camera, mostly either taking a video or taking a photo. So I think this further simplifies the iPhone experience here with iOS 26. And with the inclusion of great cameras for the iPhone 17 models that we'll be covering here shortly, this is definitely going to be even more simple for consumers, not having to go through all the modes right there and just having videos and photos. Of course, as you swipe through, liquid glass does remain pretty visually pleasing here. Although I do say that you do have the ability to click this. These are even bigger buttons as well. Exposure right there, styles, aspect ratio, timer. I mean, it couldn't get much easier than this. If we go over here to video, you have the ability to change between your resolutions right there. And if I click right here, you'll be able to change a few things there. But still, with the iPhone, you still have to go into the Apple's settings app to really dive more granular into the controls. You got a few here, but again, besides just changing resolutions, you do have to still go in the camera app for certain things. You do have cinematic modes here. You can do 4K over there, slow motion. We can do HD right here. And then 240. If we go over here to time lapse, that's available. So yeah, I think overall this is definitely looking quite modern. Let me know your thoughts on the new camera look, the camera updates. Of course, if you hold down right here, you still have the ability to record. And the last thing about the camera is that with the AirPods Pro 2 and higher, you will be able to you'll be able to take photos and videos with the AirPods stem. That's pretty cool. Especially if you're, you're out and you just got the AirPods in, you want a quick photo. There could be situations where you're taking a selfie and you want to set a timer and you want to put the phone somewhere away from you. That could be pretty useful. But lastly, you'll also get some lens clearing hints if the lenses are dirty here on iOS 26. So if they get pretty smudged up and stuff like that, you will get some lens clearing hints, as you can see. So definitely camera is going to be pretty fun to use here with a little bit more of a minimal take let me know your thoughts on how it looks now down below. So there's actually one little thing I don't know everybody knows about in iOS 26, but in the snooze duration area, for those of you who like to snooze your alarm, I'm not one of them, but if you do, you can go all the way up to 15 minutes now. So if you don't like waking up every, whatever the default used to be, you want to go a little bit further, having that extra snooze length could be something you like, especially if like you set pretty early alarms so you can have just a little bit extra sleep before you wake up, but they were too short before. That's a pretty nice custom addition to the iPhone. Now if you go into the Photos app, things they get cleaned up a little bit here, and down here you'll see these different media types and stuff of this sort. So kind of like cleaning up the Photos app, making it a bit better. Also, there's more ability to find things by recalling events within iOS 26. So you can recall like concert photos, things from certain events you had done. It can kind of like analyze what's in there and give you can find precise photos a bit easier here in 26 than ever before. So within Apple Health, it does get cleaned up a bit here to match iOS 26. But if we go over here, and I haven't used this in a while, so all my data is outdated right now. Of course, state of mind returns, but sleep score. This is the main thing, especially when you're going to be using Apple Watch. I am going to start using this when I get the Apple Watch Ultra 3. So I haven't actually used it yet, but it will give you an analysis of how you've been sleeping as you continue to use your Apple Watch. Of course, this is going to be Apple Watch dependent, so you're going to have to wear that to sleep to get the best data. But definitely, it's nice to have an included new sleep score. And then if you combine the new Apple Watch hypertension reports that are going to be coming, it's just they're further expanding how good the Apple Health experience is. So CarPlay does get updated to kind of match the icon look and just kind of the general look of iOS 26. I did show it in my beta 1 review, so if you want to see it, I have the CarPlay unit where I show how it looks. Go check that video out, my initial review on this, if you're specifically interested in CarPlay. But essentially, it just kind of looks like iOS 26. The icons will get dark mode, just like they do here in 26. And they'll just match up pretty much identical. So CarPlay definitely having a few live activity upgrades as well, and the ability to tap back on certain applications within CarPlay. So within Apple Messages, you will have polls now within group chats, which could be good to see if everybody wants to do something or not. They could kind of vote on it within the group chat. So that's a nice new feature in Messages. Also in iOS 26, you can filter unknown senders in here. So you can screen them, filter spam. So again, just like a Google Pixel with the call screening, they're doing more screening here within Messages. This is really good because a lot of people are getting scammed these days on Messages. So it's nice to see that you can filter now. And I hope this just continues to get more secure and more private to help people avoid some of these scam artists out there. So I'm very happy to see Apple improve these areas of communication. So let's say you want to set photos now as your background with iMessage. You can do that now by clicking on the contact name, go into backgrounds, and you can change different backgrounds. They do provide a few here, but you can go ahead and click photo, color. You can use Image Playground to make your own backgrounds within iMessage now. So that's a neat touch if you do want to personalize and customize your iMessage experience a bit. So overall, they're just further improving the iMessage experience, continuing to refine it, which only makes it an even better experience to use. Now, Apple Maps gets a couple of upgrades. You can save visited places a bit more. So if you do want to go ahead and do that, that's going to be good within Apple Maps. For those of you who use Apple Maps a lot, I'm not a heavy Apple Maps user, but they also will allow you to save preferred routes and detect places that you typically visit, like restaurants and shops. Basically improving your commute and giving you better, speedier ways to get to, or faster, more efficient routes to get to where you need to go, while also kind of learning the most frequent visit places so you don't have to go hunting around for places you like to go within Apple Maps. So that's an improvement as well if you do use the Maps application quite a bit. And in Apple Wallet, you will get better boarding passes, easier to read, easier to use, and improved parental controls. Browsing in Safari looks a little bit different here. I think we covered basically everything I wanted to cover. You've seen mostly everything to expect here. iOS 26 brings a major visual update. I will go ahead and showcase you before we get up out of here the wallpapers. We go ahead and add new wallpapers. Mostly what you're going to retrieve is just these right here, which we showed earlier. You'll get yourself the collections as well. And generally, The iPhone just to me looks a lot more modern now with the liquid glass. It's a nice update, I would say, overall, with quite a few feature enhancements without changing it to a degree where iPhone users are going to have a hard time using the phone. That's just not going to be the case whatsoever. So let me know your thoughts on it down below. You can also see some more visual elements here. The liquid glass right there shows within those icons. I mean, we could sit here all day if you want and go through every single element, but that's not the point. The point of this video was to give you an idea of what you can expect. In terms of performance too, I didn't mention, but I showed it in my speed tests, but the iOS 26 has this fly-in effect you can see right there. Hold on, let's do it again. Flies in, the apps kind of bounce in like that. You don't see that on a lot of phones. It makes it look a bit different. Also, the animations when coming out are faster. The phone just kind of snaps through these apps a bit faster, so the experience will feel quicker as well, especially if you have an older iPhone. Even on a 60 hertz, it does improve this phone speed a bit, but it still tends to err on the more of the smooth side. So if you want that snappiest feel, it's still not the fastest feeling phone out there. But iOS 26, it's ready to go. It's pretty good. Let me know your thoughts about it down below in the comment section. I will tell you that it's not 100% perfect though. You might still encounter some bugs. We're in the early stages of it, and well, not early, we're out of beta now, but you get my point. We're in the early stages of the official update. As time goes on and it gets more refined on the dot releases, it should be even more stable as time goes on, but it's ready to go. It's ready for the 17s. Let me know your thoughts on it. I know I didn't cover every single intricate detail, but we did cover the most forward-facing features, the ones you're going to notice the most here on the day-to-day. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll catch you on the next episode. Enjoy iOS 26. And if you have any issues with the download, drop it down below. People will chime in. I'll try to chime in as well to help you out with whatever issue you're experiencing on the download. Catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.